Hey guys, I have been trying a new classroom management thing in my art room lately. I'm loving it, and I've posted a little bit of it on Instagram and a little bit on my blog, just here and there. And I've gotten a lot of questions about it. And the reason I hesitated to share it with you is because I just wanted to make sure that it was something that I could stick with and that it was something that was kind of working. Now, I originally got this idea from my art teacher buddy, Caitlin Eddington. She has a fabulous Instagram account, which is where I got the idea from. You can follow her at artwithmrs.e. Sorry, I had to think it through. Artwithmrs.e on Instagram. In fact, I even had her join me in one of my Facebook Live chats where she explained this whole system to me and to everybody who is joining in on the chat. And that chat is still archived on my Cassie Stevens page. Not my personal Facebook page, but my official Cassie Stevens page. But all that to say, this system is her idea. I loved it so much. I adapted it to kind of fit my teaching style and my lack of consistency that I have in my art room. So let me share it with you. It starts with this thing called, which she calls the blabber brush, and I've adopted that name as well. In her room, she has what looks like a paintbrush. She's created a poster of what looks like a watercolor paint tray, where there's 3 colors on her watercolor paint tray: red, yellow, and green. Me, I happen to have these square canvases, so I just painted the square canvases. So there was a red can, a yellow can, and a green can. I don't know if you can really see. Why did I have to stand up on my tiptoes in order for you to see the green can? It didn't work that way, did it? Regardless, there's a green can right down there, and there's more pictures on my blog. After painting these cans, I just put a couple of pieces of Velcro on the cans and then have a paintbrush where I put some Velcro on the back. If the paintbrush is on red, then the kids know that they are to be working in my room and at my school, we call it level 0. Level 0 means they are to be working silently. Or if you don't want to call it silently because maybe it has a negative connotation, you could call it working mindfully, working creatively, just working so that you are lost in your own thought, in your own imagination, instead of jibber-jabbering with your neighbor. So usually, not gonna lie, the blabber brush in my room stays on red. I have 30-minute art classes. We have a limited amount of time. So I really want the kids to dig deep and focus on creating. If the blabber brush is on yellow, which I will usually do for my classes where we have an hour, it's a lot to ask my students to be silent for an hour, especially if they're communicating with one another or sharing ideas. So then I'll move it to yellow, which means they are to whisper, which of course, as you probably know, children have to be taught how to whisper. They don't just innately know this. The only time they magically know how to whisper is when they are asked to work silently. Funny how that works. And if the blabber brush is on green, then that means that they can chat with their neighbors using, let's call it an inside voice. One of those other things they often don't know what that is. Regardless, if the blabber brush is on red, that means that they are to be working quietly. How do you keep up with kids working quietly? Well, for me, it was difficult because it would be kind of like a game of the stop, quit, don'ts. And it's usually always, let's be honest, the same children who love to talk. So how Caitlin kind of maintains the system is she has sticks on the table, 5 sticks for, there's 4 kids at each table. There are 5 sticks on each table. The sticks do not go along with each child, meaning one is not Billy's stick and one is not Susie's stick. They are a team, and as a team, they are working on keeping all 5 sticks. So they start on a positive, they start with all 5. In my room, I decided to go with clothespins. So this is how it looks in my room, and you can see they've been gently used. I need a little bit of help right there on my tape. So, and we're already getting paint on my freshly painted baskets. So these are just dollar store caddies, and I spray painted them to kind of coordinate with all the tables in my room. And the green is good, the red is not so much. And how it works is this. I expect the kids to work whatever the blabber brush is telling them. I give them usually one reminder. If they continue working at a tone that is not what I've asked them to work at, then I'll just have them move a clip, and they move the clip over there. And they're to work as a team to kind of remind each other, hey, we're supposed to be working quietly. So as a team, it's a group effort to make sure that your team doesn't have to move any clips. If they don't clean up after themselves during cleanup, basically anything that I'm struggling with getting them to understand is important, working quietly, cleaning up your table, any of those things that they don't do, then they have to move a clip. It's rare that I have them move a clip just because usually if I've mentioned it once, then they know, oh, Miss Stevens is going to move a clip and is not going to end well. Not that I get upset or anything. I just say, hey, you're going to have to move a clip. And the clip does not go back. Once that clip is in red, then their score is only 4 clips. The goal at the end of art class is for them to have a score of 5. Whatever their score is, they have a table folder, which actually sits conveniently right here. This is also where any artwork goes. So in their table folder, which is their orange table folder, at the end of art class, they need to write their score. So this, you can see they've done not so well the first time and then improving. If I'm feeling generous and I notice that they're working exceptionally hard, I might ask them to change that back to a 5, but for now, I'm still watching these guys, so we're still at a 4. The reason I added this card is because this is a way for me to keep up with how many 5s they've gotten. And it also serves as like a great visual reminder for them that this is what we're working toward. When we have filled up this card with numbers, hopefully all 5s, then those tables will have a party. Now, the first go round, I'm going to assume, my kids have been doing really well with this, so I'm going to assume that we're all going to have a party, and parties are going to vary. For me, the first party we're going to have is I'm going to open up all the centers that I've been working on creating in my room and just have it be a day of exploring and basically for me to introduce all of the centers to them. I've also talked to them about they really want to make slime in my room. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I would like them to do a lot more creating of like art supplies. So my idea is for them to kind of create their own clay. So I basically have a couple of weeks to figure out what their party activity will be. But all this to say that this system is really working out well in my room. It's made it so my kids are working a lot more calmer, a lot more quietly. They're a lot more focused on what they're doing and knowing that they have to work together as a team to remind each other calmly, kindly, and quietly to work quietly and to work well as a team in order to clean up. I've noticed that they're really helping each other get their things put away and getting their tables tidy, and it's just been working out great. So, like I said, I know I've shared it on my Instagram a couple of times and I've gotten several questions, but I didn't want to roll it out too much and share it with you for fear that it wasn't something I wasn't going to be able to stick with or something that was going to work for me and my students, because ultimately that's the only way I stick with something, if it works for me and my kiddos. So like I said, I'll have photos of these up on my my blog so that you're welcome to just print copies of these if you want to or make your own. And again, do give Caitlin Eddington a follow. She's fabulous. Art with Mrs.E on Instagram. Thanks, guys.